Okay, today is September 19th, 2017, and we're looking at the NOAA Goes East water vapor loop for the eastern U.S., and we're keeping an eye on tropical storm Jose right here, which is continuing to move north right towards Long Island, as a matter of fact, in the Long Island Sound. We have what appears right now today to be more vigorous rotation. If we look at this same map in the rainbow mode or the infrared mode, we can see that the storm is actually wrapping around. Apparently the terrorists controlling this whole operation have pulled off the power level, and we have a more organized storm, despite the fact that we have a blast pattern, a large blast concussion pressure wave right there shooting out to the east northeast right there. But in last night's video, I made a note of the fact that this was about a half of a storm. All the rest of this water vapor, when it was wrapping back around, was being evaporated by this area of high pressure, which was installed just adjacent to this storm yesterday. Well, we can see what's happened. This whole area is basically deflating, for lack of a better term. We see that the high pressure has diminished. We see water vapor filling in around here on the south side as the storm reorganizes, and we can see some pretty vigorous rotation there. All right, and that is producing these high swells in the swell map right here. We'll take a look at that. This is the NOAA wave height map, and we can see that, and these are the average right here is this is the average height of the highest 1/3 of the waves. So there are much higher waves, rogue waves, if you want to call them that, among what we're showing here. So we've got 32-foot swells right dead center in the center of Jose. Then we have 30 and 24. This line right here represents 24-foot seas. And then we have Long Island, the Long Island Peninsula right here, which is right dead ahead of this northbound trek of this storm. And if it takes a right-hand turn out to the east, I think the damage will have already been done anyhow, because we've got this new moon coming up. The higher tides are, already arrived today, tomorrow, and Thursday. So let's go back and look again at these maps. We can see the much better organization today than in yesterday's video. Whoops, wrong map. And we have the again the diagram of the swells being generated. Let's take a look over here in the floaters map. We have the visible light map, and we can put the grid on, and the very center of rotation is right about at 71 west. Okay. It looks like for the moment the storm is moving. If anything, it's moving slightly north. We go ahead and take a look at the hurricane map right here. Here's Jose. Northeast at 9 miles per hour is what they're showing here, with 973 millibar central pressure. All right, and with 70 mile per hour winds. So the storm is weakened, but it's such a big storm, and of course the Long Island Sound is a funnel. Basically, the water that walls up in that sound will end up piling up down where the East River dumps into that sound. So that can cause a lot of problems. And of course, the terrorists have arranged this to happen. If we recall, Jose was parked right down here off of Florida for several days, about 5 or 6 days, and then it started to move north towards where we're seeing right now. And then, of course, what's going to happen here, according to the cone, is it's going to make that turn, and then it's going to double back. So we've got an interesting thing here. This is going to basically do a U-turn and come back and sit parked in this area. So we've got a forecast through Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We've got Tuesday right here. That's tonight. This is going to move out and then turn around and come back. So this is very similar to what happened with Irma. Irma sat parked over the Houston area, the southern Texas area for a while, dumping 40 or 50 inches of rain. And we'll have to see what happens here. This doesn't look good. And these terrorist weather controllers, they're very skilled at timing these events with high tides and different things. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Let's take a look here right now at the tropical Atlantic, the water vapor loop. This is the wide map. We can see Maria right here. Maria, pardon me, get it right tonight. Hurricane Maria right here. Category 5. And let's look at the map once again. The hurricane map, which is right here, I believe. Let's go back to that one map. Hurricane Maria is now generating 175 mile per hour winds. The storm is strengthened. We've got 909 millibar central pressure, and that equates to about 13.19 psi, and that pressure differential is 1.51 psi below the standard 14.7 psi at sea level. So we've got a central pressure of 13.19 psi in the center of this storm right here, Maria. And that is going to mow down and probably destroy what's left of Puerto Rico. So I don't know how many catastrophic bond sales there's been, cat bonds for Puerto Rico, but those people in the know are going to cash in. People that are in the know. Now we've got another disturbance out here with a 60% chance of cyclone formation in 2 days. And we can go back to the maps here and take a look. Whoops. Here we go. Right here. This is the next problem. You can see a huge area of counterclockwise rotating moisture flow right here. And so this is the next problem that may develop into a hurricane. And Maria is right here. And this is going to run right over the top of Puerto Rico. Looks like moving right just dead ahead. Puerto Rico is going to get a direct hit. It looks like. That is terrible news. Terrible news. Getting back to the mid-Atlantic water vapor, or rather this is the water vapor map. We can see Jose right here with a vigorous counterclockwise spinning center, and Long Island is right here. And we've got Massachusetts right up here. The storm may, if it doesn't turn, it may run right into any one of these areas right here. And we can see there is a blast pattern here, but that's not affecting the storm much. In fact, it's more organized looking today than yesterday. Of course, there's a buffer zone here of high pressure to separate this moisture field, which is moving towards Jose. All right, now if we look at the let's take a look here at the West Coast real quick. Those two tropical storms have been squashed out. We can see that there's really nothing left. Go to the hurricane map for the West Coast. We see that Norma is a post-tropical cyclone, 35 mile per hour winds. Both of these were squashed out as forecasted because of, we've got an upper level low sitting out here spinning counterclockwise. This is a dry low. That's what they call it on TV. There's a transmitter right on top of this to prevent any development. We can see the this whole area is this moisture out here is being prevented from getting into the center of this low pressure area. And these storms that were here out over near Mexico were forecast to move. One of them was forecast to move out to the southwest. And of course, that would have gotten mixed up with this upper level low and with this thunderstorm activity. And so the weather controllers killed these both off. And that's what's happened. They actually got rid of those. And that is what's happened to these two storms. But yet we look at the other side of the country, and they have decided not to get rid of this. That could have been squashed out in the same manner that the upper level low right here has been completely squashed. We still have some counterclockwise rotation. Just like any of these storms, here's one right up here, giant upper level low. We've got actually a spinning vortex within this giant low pressure system. There's a transmitter right here. We can see that dark area, and there is a quasi sort of a right angle starting to form there. None of that activity is going on here on the east coast, right here. In fact, we'll take a look right now at the pressure maps. We have the sea level pressure map. We can see a nice laminar flow on these isobars pretty much all the way around this hurricane. This is the sea level pressure chart. Over here on the west coast, we can see that we have a lot of squiggly lines, and that indicates manipulation by transmitters, either satellite-based transmitters or a NexRad, but this is probably all satellite-based stuff. Let's take a look next at the 500 millibar. We can see the squiggly lines, and notice the nice smooth laminar flow going on here around this hurricane, which is about ready to hit New York on a high tide. So again, over here on the west coast, we see the squiggly lines. There's no rain because of all the chemtrails right here in California. Now, if we look at the 300 millibar map, same story. No major manipulation of any sort evident here on these isobars, but yet over here we see a lot of squiggly lines right down here. Look at this. Strange stuff, especially in this area. Go to the west coast map. Once again, we can see what's happening. You've got some high pressure right here separating this giant low pressure system from a developing low right there over Texas. And so separation is being maintained with this installed high pressure descending air, and that is causing the crazy isobar squiggly lines that we're seeing. Take a look again. That's exactly what we're seeing here over Texas. We've got right here, there's a squiggly here, high and low pressure. That's what these lines mean when they're all chopped up and squiggly looking. That means that there's varying degrees of high and low pressure intermixed, and they shouldn't look like that. They should be very smooth, like we're seeing out over here. Very smooth. There's no reason to have squiggly lines unless, of course, there's microwave transmitter activity disrupting the high and low pressure in that area. And that's exactly what's happening. What else would explain all this? Nobody seems to want to explain any of that. We get cartoon weather instead. Okay, so that's it. We're just going to leave it here. Right here. And we'll keep an eye on Maria as well. Maria. But this is what we need to look at right here. These terrorists have timed that perfectly. This was sitting parked for 5 or 6 days, and then they pushed it north, and it's going to run right into the East Coast. Okay, that's it.